I do, Your Honor, on both cases. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Put your hand down. And Mr. Creedon?
I do. Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. You may put your hand down.
Yep.
Each of you has been charged with violations of the law. It is my information that you each have worked out a plea bargain with the state. Each of you has certain rights individually, has rights and protections afforded by the Constitution and laws. I will explain those to you on the record verbally, and you will find that they'll be repeated in writing. Each of you has the right to remain silent individually on any and all cases. That means that you cannot be required or compelled to give any kind of statement. You cannot be required to answer questions, and you cannot be required to submit written paperwork with your signature. Do you understand you all have the right to remain silent?
Yes.
I do.
Yes, sir.
Each of you has the right, each of you has the right to a jury trial. That means that each of you in each case has the right to have your attorney assist and join the state in selecting 6 people from a panel of disinterested citizens who would see and hear all of the evidence and presentations on a trial of your case or cases. That 6-person jury would decide whether you are not guilty or whether you have been proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt. That's called the right to a jury trial. Each of you has the right to confront witnesses. What that means is that if either of you on any case decided to go to trial, the state would have to try and prove you guilty by presenting testimony. That person who testifies would be subject, or persons would be subject to questioning, cross-examination, or challenge from you and your attorney. That's called the right of confrontation. Each of you has the right to appeal. Once this case is over, there are certain rights and protocols to appeal, meaning that you could demand, you yourself, your attorney, or the 2 of you together, could demand that the higher court or courts review the official record and the evidence in each of your individual cases for whatever legal challenge you wanted to make. You'd have to be careful, I warn you, because on appeal, you have to submit specific paperwork with information that's specific. You also have to abide by time limitations, but that is essentially the right of appeal. You also, each of you have, and also in each case, the state does too, have the right to demand a hearing, this hearing be held in the open public courtroom. That's called the right to a public courtroom and trial. Also, that right is shared by the state. And because of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, we've had to relent or not have these hearings in the open public courtroom. But in order to proceed with your plea bargain, it was required that you individually consent to the hearing being held in by video conference. So those are the rights that each of you has individually for any and all cases. Do each of you know and understand or realize that these rights that I have recited to you apply to each one of you, and you will be giving those rights up if you persist in your plea agreement? Mr. Edison, are you fully aware of this?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Creedon
Yes, Your Honor.
and Ms. Rodriguez on both your cases?
I understand, Your Honor.
All right. Now, the first document, now each of you has reviewed certain documents and signed them, and they are part of this proceeding in the record. Each of those documents you should have been able to have the assistance and counsel of your individual attorney as far as signing those documents. Did you have the assistance of your attorney in signing the documents, Mr. Creedon?
Yes, sir, I did.
Ms. Rodriguez on your two cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Edison?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's discuss the different documents. First of all, these are written documents that bear your signature. The first one I mentioned was the consent to video conference. Did each of you sign and consent to the video conferencing of this proceeding? Ms. Rodriguez, your two cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Edison?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Creedon?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's another critical document that is titled Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. That document identifies each of you individually, and in your case, Ms. Rodriguez, identifies you twice on each individual case respectively. That document recites in there that you acknowledge that the different rights and protections that you have been explained to you by this court, that the document itself explains to you that any agreement that you made is subject to the court's approval, and that also you acknowledge and realize that I have the authority to give you any punishment in the range of punishment for your particular offense. And as such, I can give you a punishment within the range that might be greater than what you agreed to. If that's the case, if I give you a punishment that's greater than what you agreed to, or if I reject your deal outright, then the law would allow you to start all over again, and nothing that you've said or signed would be used against you. You're aware of that information, Mr. Creedon?
Yes, sir, I am aware.
Mr. Edison?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, there's another document that applies to each of you on any and all cases. It is a document that identifies you, and then it declares, it is my certification to each of you that because you are participating in a plea agreement, you do not have a right of appeal. You're giving that up as part of the agreement. You understand that that's the case, Ms. Rodriguez, on your two cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Edison
Yes, Your Honor.
and Mr. Creedon?
Yes,
All right, state, am I correct in believing that each one will have some form of probation?
Yes, Judge, that is correct.
All right, Mr. Edison, what kind of probation will he expect?
Mr. Edison will have, it is straight probation, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Creedon?
Judge, this one is deferred,
Deferred from Mr. Creedon. Ms. Rodriguez
straight probation.
on both cases.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so I informed,
Judge, my apologies. On Ms. Rodriguez, the harassment case is deferred.
okay. I inform each of you that each of you is applying for deferred adjudication. Pardon me, each of you is applying for probation. It happens that y'all will, some of you, or one or two of you will be asking for deferred adjudication probation. Let's start off with probation in general. Probation, we call it straight probation, but probation is a written legal binding agreement between each of you and this court. That agreement, in essence, is that you will be receiving some kind of punishment or sentence, and any jail sentence will be suspended. On regular probation, jail sentence is suspended and subject to your performance of 100% of the conditions of supervision. If you live up to all the conditions of supervision, then this case gets closed and you do not go to jail at all. if you're getting deferred adjudication on any or all cases, deferred adjudication is a probation that is a supervision, a community supervision. You're supervised outside of the jail. And with deferred, the particular charge, you are not found guilty. And if you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, then the case in particular gets dismissed and you are not convicted under Texas law. So there's a huge distinction that you need to realize, but the bottom line is probation means community supervision, not going to jail. So let's start off with Mr. Edison. Mr. Edison, you were charged originally with DWI with a blood alcohol content of 0.15 or higher, which is commonly called extreme intoxication. State, what are you pursuing on this, if anything?
Judge, did you say Edison?
James Edison, 646-744.
Yes, Judge. On this case, the state moves to waive and abandon the extreme intoxication enhancement and proceed on a DWI first.
On proceed on what?
Just a regular Class B DWI.
Okay,
No objections, Your Honor.
there being no objection, that motion is granted. Mr. Edison, you're the recipient of some good work and your DWI has been lowered in so far as the level of punishment. You understand it?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
To the charge of DWI misdemeanor B, also known as DWI first, how do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
A no contest plea in this court is considered a guilty plea and is sufficient for me to convict you. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Edison, how do you make a living?
I'm retired.
You're retired. All
Yes.
right, that means you're receiving some kind of a pension or retirement payment. How much is your total income per month?
It's about 6,000 a month.
All right, sir. Very good. State, what is the agreement on punishment?
Judge, the agreement in this case is 180 days Bexar County Jail, probated over 14 months. It is a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, $60 restitution to DPS, a Crime Stoppers organization fee of $50, DWI education, Victim Impact Panel Live, the TAP evaluation, and ignition interlock for half the term.
Mr. Barrera, is this your understanding of the agreement you have entered?
It is, Your Honor, and my clients completed some of the courses, so I'd ask the court to give him some credit. He did complete the DWI education program, the DWI Victim Impact Panel, and he's actually made a $500 donation to the Gabriel Project.
All right. Mr. Edison, is this your understanding of the agreement that you've gone into?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Edison, are you married?
No, sir.
All right, you're single.
Yes, sir.
All right. I accept the agreement. Based on your plea and the evidence, I find you guilty. I am sentencing you to 180 days, Bexar County Jail, probated, suspended for 14 months. So long as you live up to 100% of the conditions of supervision, you will never see the jail again. You are fined $500 plus court costs. You will perform 48 hours of community service restitution. the court will give you credit for $500 in lieu of the community service hours. I will not approve the $60 donation or payment to DPS in restitution. In my humble opinion, DPS is part of the multi-billion-dollar budget per year for state of Texas, and they don't need this money from you. That's, of course, my opinion only. You will pay a $50 donation to Crime Stoppers. That's 50, state.
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Okay. You will complete the DWI education program, and I give you credit for that. That is completed. The VIP program, was this live, Mr. Barrera?
No, Judge, it was just the regular one.
All right. State, do you accept that as sufficient?
That would be fine, Judge.
All right, then I'll give you credit for completion of that. You will submit to a TAP evaluation, and the recommendations will be subject to my approval. You will have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for 7 continuous months. During those 7 months, you're not to drive any other vehicle with the exception of your vehicle with the ignition interlock. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
That'll be for 7 continuous months. Your supervisory fee will be $38 a month. All right. Any questions, Mr. Edison?
No, sir.
You are required within 7 days of today to appear at the offices of County Court at Law Number 5 to have your thumbprint placed on the documents as required by law. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you are not to leave this hearing until you have met with Ms. Maricela Luna. She is the court liaison officer who will explain to you how you're going to get started with the probation program. Be aware that probation will be reading to you, not necessarily Ms. Luna, but probation will read to you your individual conditions of supervision. You will sign those. They will put a copy in your hands so that you will not be in a position to ever come back and tell me, well, Judge, I didn't know about that condition. It will not work that way. Is that clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you. Stay out of trouble. Mr. Creedon, you were charged with DWI. The state has a motion.
No, Judge, there are no motions from the state in this case.
Okay, so you're going to proceed with DWI. All right. Mr. Creedon, to the charge of DWI, how do you plead, sir?
I plead no low contendere or no
No
contest.
contendere plea is considered a guilty plea and is sufficient for me to convict you. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Did anyone threaten you, intimidate you, or promise you anything in exchange for your plea of no contest, other than the agreement that you've entered?
Negative.
All right. So, state, this is going to be deferred, right?
Yes, Judge, it's deferred.
Mr. Creedon, in accordance with the agreement that you have reached with the state, I find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. Instead, I am granting you deferred adjudication. State, tell me how long that deferred will be and the other details of punishment.
Yes, Judge, it's for a term of 12 months. There's a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, DWI education, victim impact panel, HAP evaluation, and ignition interlock for half the term.
Mr. Creedon, how do you earn a living?
I'm not working right now, Your Honor.
When's the last time you worked?
I arrived back from Texas the day I was arrested. I was taking care of my fiance. She had a spinal cord injury, and I've been taking care of her for 2 years, for the last 2 years.
So you're receiving, you have literally zero income?
No, sir.
Do you get any kind of stipend or assistance for assisting your
Well, I take it back. There's a program up in Boston. I don't receive anything now, but while I was helping her, I was getting $14 an hour for 40 hours a week. But I don't have that now because I'm down here.
all right. So how are you sustaining yourself? Somebody's got to be giving you some money or something.
Well, I sold some things of mine. I'm just trying to, again, I bought a house here with her in mind. We were going to move here, and I was bringing things down here when I got in trouble. I had just
All
finished 2 days to get here. I was tired and I messed up. So right now I'm just selling anything I can to get, to pay my bills, and I keep them to a minimum.
All right, sir. I accept. Now, what is your official plea to the charge? You said no contest, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Based on your plea and the evidence, I find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not. I'm granting you 12 months deferred adjudication. The state has suggested a fine of $500. I'm going to make it $250 under the circumstances. You will perform 60 hours of community service restitution. That is an increase, which technically is allows you to give up, or rather start up all over again if you choose to.
Yes, Your Honor. I appreciate that.
Pardon me?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. You will perform the DWI education program, the victim impact panel. You'll submit to a TAP evaluation and recommendations in under my supervision or approval. You'll have ignition interlock installed in your vehicle for 6 continuous months. During that time, you're not to drive any other vehicle other than yours with ignition interlock. The supervisory fee, I set at $25, which is the minimum by law. You are to appear in the offices of County Court Order number 5 to have your thumbprint placed on the documents that are required by law. You are to wait here this afternoon so that you may meet with Ms. Maricela Luna to explain to you or start you off on probation. Any questions, Mr. Creedon?
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you, sir. Stay out of trouble.
Will do. Thank you.
Ms. Ashley Rodriguez. you
Hello,
have-
Your Honor.
You have 2 cases, 620-541, which is a DWI second, and 648-444, which is a harassment charge. State, tell me about DWI seconds, 541.
On the DWI second, the state is proceeding as alleged. There are no motions in this case.
All right. And the same on the harassment? Except that it's going to be deferred?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Is she going to plead no low contender on each one?
That is what the paperwork says.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Rodriguez, to the charge of DWI second under case number 620-541, officially tell me how you plead.
No contest, Your Honor.
You understand that a no contest plea is a guilty plea in this court,
Yes, Your Honor.
and it's sufficient for me to convict you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. To the charge of harassment in case number 648-444, how do you plead on that, ma'am, officially?
No contest, Your Honor.
A no contest plea in this case is considered a guilty plea and is sufficient for me to convict you. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
On either case, have you, has anyone threatened you, intimidated you, or promised you anything other than the plea bargain in exchange for your plea of no contest?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Now, State, tell me about the DWI second. By the way, Ms. Rodriguez, depending upon your income, the state, if you wind up getting a final conviction, the state may come after you for a specific and separate fine of around $5,000. Are you aware of that?
I am now, Your Honor.
You are now, okay.
Yes.
So State, talk to me about 620541 as far as punishment.
Yes, Judge, the agreement in this case is 365 days Bear County Jail, probated for a term of 15 months. There's a $400 fine plus court costs, 80 hours of community service, a Crime Stoppers organization fee of $50, DWI intervention, victim impact panel live, the TAP evaluation, 8 months of ignition interlock, and 72 continuous hours in the Bear County Jail as a condition of community supervision per 42A 401. Also, this is to run concurrent with 648444.
In reference to 648444, is it the exact same punishment?
Judge, yes, it's just deferred for 15 months and without the DWI conditions.
All right. Ms. Rodriguez, in reference to DWI second charge 620541, you have officially pled no contest. I find you guilty of the charge. I approve the sentence that has been repeated by the state. Is there any objection to that, Mr. Sierra?
Your Honor,
Mr. Parra?
Your Honor, I would like for the court to take into consideration some details. So since the original offense date till now, it's been a total of 835 days, which equates to 2 years, 3 months, and 12 days. In that time, Ms. Rodriguez has been in jail for 3 days. She has completed the victim impact panel. She has completed the TAP evaluation. She has been an abuse. She has also completed the DWI intervention. During that time, she's been paying for these things. There was issues with prior counselors where she was unable to get a hold of them. And until I got here, I'm the third attorney on this cause. Throughout the entire time, there's a record of Ms. Rodriguez calling the court, calling pretrial supervision to try to help herself out. And I asked the court to take this into consideration before sentencing.
All right, Ms. Rodriguez, how do you make a living?
I work at Chase Bank, sir, as a fraud specialist, but right now I'm on disability.
You work for what now?
Chase Bank, sir. JP Morgan Chase.
Okay. And what is your income?
I make about $2,800 a month.
Your Honor, right now she's on short-term
How long have you
disability.
been working for them?
Yes, sir. I make half of that, 60% of that right now, because I'm on short-term disability due to everything going on.
I'm having trouble hearing.
So I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Try it again.
Okay. I'm on short-term disability because of everything that's going on. So I make 60% of that, which is $715 every 2 weeks. So about $1,430 a month.
All right. How long have you been with that organization?
I've been with them 1 year and 2 months, sir.
Okay, so you're established there is not a temporary thing.
No, sir. No, Your Honor.
All right, in reference to case number 620-541, first of all, the court approves the punishment as stated. Then I'll look at it some more. You are sentenced to 365 days Bexar County Jail. That is suspended and probated for 16 months. You have a $400 fine plus court costs. You will perform 80 hours of community service restitution. You will have you will pay a Crime Stopper fee of $50. I'm sorry, I never asked you, do you have children you support?
I have a 16-year-old son, yes, sir. And I do not receive child support. Supposed to, but I don't receive it.
Okay. You are sentenced to 72 continuous hours as a condition of the community supervision
Yes.
per statute cited. You're to have a DWI intervention program, the VIP live, a TAP evaluation, and the recommendations subject to my approval. You'll have 8 months of ignition interlock continuously. So now, counsel, you're telling me about things that she apparently, or you are telling me as an officer of the court that she has completed. Did you
Yes, Your
tell
Honor.
me that she's done the DWI intervention
Yes, Your Honor.
for this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I give her credit for that. You're telling me that she's done the VIP live?
I'm not sure if it was live. Was it live, Ashley? I'm not sure if it was live. Your
The
Honor.
VIP?
Yes. Victim impact.
The
I don't think
outfit.
The victim impact panel.
What?
not that one, sir. It was a TAP evaluation with the
I
DWI innovation.
VIP. That doesn't.
All right.
I did the
TAP
outpatient program, yes.
evaluation. Has that been done already? I don't think
Yes.
it would have been.
Well, she's current from the TAP evaluation. They put her on abuse.
Okay, you are on abuse at this time?
Since 2019, yes, sir. There was a lapse when I had a pregnancy, but that ended in miscarriage. So it
Okay,
it
now
got reinstated.
the VIP, you have done that,
Not the
That
VIP
does not
live, Your
sound
Honor.
familiar.
the victim impact panel.
I've done it for my previous DWI, I believe. It's a class, correct?
Not on this one, Your Honor.
Or no?
Okay, then I want you to complete the victim impact panel live.
Okay.
The TAP evaluation, if it's not been completed for this case, you're ordered to do that. Ms. Luna, you'll have to check that for me. The 72 hours continuous, Mr. Parra, you're telling me that she has done jail time.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much of this has been continuous time?
It hasn't been continuous. So unfortunately, that's the only thing that we don't meet. It was 1 day in August of 2019, 1 day in April of 2020, and 1 day of May of 2021.
All right, then I'll require you to do the 72 hours continuous. If that's requirement by law under the circumstances that you've agreed to. Your supervisory fee in this case will be $25 a month.
Okay.
To the harassment state, tell me individually or separately, what is the punishment agreed to in this case?
Judge, in this case, it is deferred for a term of 15 months. And then the same as in the DWI. So there is a $400 fine plus court costs, 80 hours of community service, a $50 Crime Stoppers fee. And no contact with Stephen Tran.
Is that with a V or a PH?
A V.
All right. Anything else?
And just that these terms run concurrent with 620-541.
All right. On 620-541, the recitations of the court will run concurrent with 648-444. On 648-444, Ms. Rodriguez, the court accepts your plea of no contest, finds that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, but I do not find you guilty. I grant you 15 months deferred adjudication. You will pay a $400 fine plus court costs. You'll perform 80 hours of community service restitution, a $50 payment to Crime Stoppers. You'll have no contact with Stephen Tran. And the supervisory fee is the same $25 a month as in the other case. These both run concurrent. When you do one for one, you do for the other. Obviously, there's no 72-hour jail term for this particular violation. Any questions, Ms. Rodriguez?
There's not anything else that I can do instead of the 72 hours.
No, ma'am. You have to do 72 continuous hours. State, can we give her credit for one of the days and let her do the other two?
Judge, I don't know if statutorily that's allowed. If it is allowed, we would not be opposed. I'm just not sure if that's legal under the statute.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I looked up case number 620-541, the DWI case.
Yes.
It's showing that she has 2 days credit on August 5th, 2019 through August 6th, 2019. That's two
Yes,
days.
Patty, actually, you are correct. I'm sorry about that. She was booked on August 5th and released on August 6th.
She gets
And
2
then-
days credit. The only
Yes,
problem
sir,
is
but-
this specific statute
Oh,
requires 72 continuous hours. Unless the state, is this required under? No, it's not. State? Any suggestions, recommendations? You already made these.
Judge, no, I mean, I don't have any further recommendations.
Okay. Ms. Rodriguez, it's a hard lesson, but you'll have to do 72 continuous hours, okay?
Okay, so I can get credit for the 2 days and do something in the jail for an hour.
No, you're.
Ministry or jail ministry or something like that. No, okay.
Let me repeat. This
Yes, sir.
requires 72 continuous hours. Right now, you've got 48 by themselves, but you don't add one separately. They've got to be continuous. And that's what you've agreed to under this particular citation of the statute in exchange for getting the probation on 620-541. You're okay on 648-444. You're not getting any time at all. All right. You two have to appear within 7 days to have your thumbprint placed on the documents. That can be done there at the jail at one time. And you are to stick around right now so that Ms. Luna can talk to you about probation.
Your Honor, when do you want her to begin the 72 hours? Jim?
How soon can you come in to put your thumbprint on the documents?
Whenever you need me to, Judge. It's fine.
Well, can you come in? Can you come in tomorrow? All right, then I'll ask you, if you come in tomorrow and have your thumbprint put on the papers, how soon are you prepared to go into the jail to do your 72 hours? Don't forget next week is Thanksgiving.
That's right. Next week, I can go Friday or the week after Thanksgiving. I wanted to go back to work early. But you suggest a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or it had to be any day.
Okay, so you tell me the day and I will write it on here so for you to surrender.
Okay.
Ashley, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, did that work best for you?
Yes, sir.
Would a few weeks help you so you could get everything situated, especially with your son?
Yes, sir, because we're moving out to a new apartment. Yes, sir.
Right.
On the
So
29th.
of this month, correct?
Yes.
Right. So well, if you push it out 2 weeks, okay, that's December 3rd. 3 weeks is December 10th.
Okay.
4 weeks is December
To play it
17th.
safe, December 10th then.
December 10th. So the December 10th
Is that
versus
what you
Friday,
suggest for the
December
3rd?
11th Saturday, and December 12th Sunday.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be 72 hours continuous. So if you go in Friday at 6, you won't come out till Monday at 6.
No, she will
Yes.
come out Sunday, Judge. She'll be released Sunday.
Well, ordinarily the sheriff will do that on when you say 3 days, but this thing says 72 continuous hours. That means exactly 24-hour periods 3 times. All right, December 10th, you will surrender. What time? Morning or afternoon?
Morning. Morning.
Morning, 10 a.m.,
Yes.
9 a.m.?
I take my son to school so I can be there by 10 a.m.
All right, 10 a.m. So it'll be.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then this concludes this proceeding. Good luck to you, ma'am. Let me just remind you, you've got a DWI second now on your record. If you get a third one, it'll be prosecuted as a felony, ma'am.
Yes, sir. There won't be a third. The anti-abuse has worked well. I've done support groups and things like that. It was just a mistake. So thank you. Yes, sir. I understand.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Take care. Okay, this
Thank you.
concludes this proceeding. Don't forget to wait for Ms. Luna. You and Mr. Creedon are waiting.
Have a great day, Your Honor. Thank you.
You too.